Hi, my name is Sam and welcome to Cars Performance Garage. On this episode of Shed Sesh, I'm going to be finishing stuff off my list for the WRX. This is a list of all the stuff that needs to be done, so I'm just going through this list that I made of all the things left to do one by one, so I know I won't have missed anything, and because I planned it all, I knew what parts I needed. So to start off, I'm going to just be filling the transmission up with some transmission fluid. I personally like to use Castrol Syntrax Universal Plus 75W90. That's what the dealership recommends, and that's pretty much what everyone recommends in terms of fluid for the 5 speeds and 6 speed. Yes, there are other ones, but this has been proven to work and work really well. So I need 3.5 litres and let's fill her up. So I filled her up with a little bit more than 3.5 litres, mainly because 3.5 litres is when you're doing a fluid change. And when you do a fluid change, you actually don't get everything out. Because I replaced all of the gearbox seals that needed replacing, and I resealed it up, I pretty much emptied all of the transmission fluid completely out of it. So it means that it will probably take a little bit more. I'll need to let it settle for a little while, and definitely before I do start to drive the car, I'm going to double check everything to make sure it's full to the brim. So next on the list, this PCV hose that runs from the rocker cover on the turbo side to a port just next to the inlet. It broke when I took it off, so I need to replace it. While I'm there, I'm going to remove a few of the hoses and also the crankcase PCV port hoses, because I'm going to do a PCV block, plus I'm installing a new Got It Rex catch can. A PCV delete is removing the PCV valve on the intake manifold, and then basically removing the crankcase breather T, blocking off one of those lines, and then running the breather straight to your catch can. It can be a bit annoying to remove the hoses as they often get really hard, so I recommend using a heat gun to help take it off. Plus, also remove the throttle body, because what you can do is you can just unscrew the PCV valve and it will come out with the hoses. So I finally got the PCV valve out. Unfortunately, I had actually just replaced this with a brand new one. But because of the way I'm going to route the catch can, deleting it is necessary. So after a little bit of research, I discovered that it is a quarter BSP thread. So I'm needing to get a quarter BSP plug to plug it all up so I won't have any issues with the PCV system. Since I've needed to buy this, the other thing that I might need to buy is some fittings for the catch can. So we'll have a look at that and I'll be able to see what I need. So here I almost have everything I need for my catch can system. So the catch can I decided to go with is the Got It Rex catch can. This one actually sits where the battery goes, and you use a thinner battery so it all fits. So the reason why I went for the Got It Rex catch can is because every other catch can I've done my research on, it will work in your car, but they're not really 100% suitable. Like they either have way too many ports in the wrong spot, and just a whole bunch of other issues in terms of mounting and location placement. The best thing about these is because Got It Rex specializes in Subarus, so the catch can they make is specialty made for Subarus. So many people down in Melbourne are running these catch cans now just because they are so good. They have drains in the right spot, they've got the ports in the right spot, they have the amount of ports that you need, and it's just absolutely perfect. So the ports that I will be needing is I'll be needing one for the crankcase, one for each of the rocker covers, so they will tee off into one, and then one out to go back to the intake. Plus then, of course, one for the drain. So I'm not going to install this today because there is some more fittings that I do need. For example, I need a fitting for this PCV crankcase breather adapter. This is another thing Got It Rex makes. This is fantastic. It's pretty hard to find a hose and adapters and fittings to go from, I believe it's an AN12, which this fits in, right down to a AN6 or an AN8. I forgot what size it was. So because it's such a big step down, just having this adapter and this breather works perfectly. Plus it cleans up that whole area and removes the whole PCV block breather T plastic thing that is very prone to clogging up, failing, cracking, the hoses break. And the problem is you can't just buy an individual part, you have to buy the whole thing. And Australian, it's about 150 bucks if you can get it that cheap, which you would have to order it from overseas, and that's only if they are available. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to just quickly test fit everything, make sure I have the right amount of fittings and the right ones. So it means that I can then order them so they come in as soon as possible. So let's get to it. So it turns out all I need is just a quarter to AN8 adapter for this, and then probably a AN8 push lock barb, but that's all I will need. Now, one thing that I do need to decide on is how I'm going to route the catch can hoses. So what I'm thinking of doing is with the PCV hoses, replace the stock ones with an aftermarket one and have the hose running right across the intercooler. I'll get some P-clamps so I can zip tie it on and keep it in place. And then basically bring it around to the corner here and then tee it off with a T adapter, Y adapter with AN fittings. So it means that I can keep both of the lines right here, and to take the engine out, I just need to undo the one AN fitting and I can keep the rest on the engine. So I'm not sure where I'd put this yet, but I think that's probably going to be the best option, to just plain and simply get rid of the factory PCV hoses. Then for the plastic PCV hose adapter thing there, have it come straight up, meet with that line there along the intercooler, and then just follow it around so they both follow the exact same path. Then of course with the one that goes to the manifold, I'll pretty much just have it running right across here and then into that port there. So I think that's going to be the best option. And then of course with the drain valve, I can just run it straight down there. The plan is to actually take the U-frame off at one point, so I can weld some little tabs to keep all the drains for the coolant and the catch can in a very easy and accessible spot. So it means I don't have to keep using zip ties. I can literally just undo the hose clamp and they'll come out with ease. So it's another day and it's raining, so hopefully the audio is not too bad. But what I'll probably end up doing is I'll just voice over the rest of this because yeah, I don't think the audio will come out good. But this morning I just went out and got some more fittings. But the problem is, before I can actually route all the hoses, I really need to install the intercooler and I need to custom fabricate the brackets for that. As it is a GR intercooler, it's a lot bigger. The rain's getting heavier, so I'll do it all in voiceover. So I reinstalled the throttle body onto the manifold with the gasket. The gasket was still brand new, so I could reuse it, and the torque specs are 6.4 Newton meters. With the throttle body back in, I can quickly test the intercooler so I can measure up how much I need to extend the right hand intercooler bracket by so I can fit that nice big GR intercooler. Alright, so we have the mount for the intercooler, the stock one. So I measured it up, and basically this needs to be extended by 6 centimeters. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grind off this nut, and I've got some steel here, and I'm going to basically grind this so it's flat, and then have this so it is extended 6 centimeters. And then down the bottom, I'm going to put another piece just to reinforce it, because the intercooler is not exactly light. So that should support it completely. I'll probably need to square these off a little bit, cut it down, but let's face it, no one's going to see it, so it should be all good. So I'll start marking and we'll start fabricating this. Alright, so it's not raining anymore, but basically there we are, it's done. Honestly, it's not the cleanest of things, but I am very impressed with how my welds went. They got pretty good full coverage, they were really even, and they filled everything in alright. That's not really a good example. So sure, my fabricating skills may not have improved too much, but my welding skills are definitely getting better, and so I'm pretty proud of that. Definitely going to remake this in the future, but hey, it's gonna work for now. So the intercooler is now in. Basically, the only other things that I kind of need to modify is I need to modify the turbo water hose because that hits it. But at least now with it in place, I can start routing the catch can lines. The last thing that I need to do is I need to put a 90-degree elbow in between the compressor housing and the intercooler. So that won't really be too difficult. At least the thing that I am liking about how I've installed it on my car rather than Ebony's is that the positioning of it is a lot better. Just as I was going through, I need to definitely clean the inside of the intercooler because it was sitting pretty much underneath the mezzanine here while we were working on it. A shit ton of sawdust and crap got into it, so that definitely needs a clean. But I'll get the elbow out and we'll cut it to size.
4 to 6 weeks later.
So in that last clip, I said I was going to remove the intercooler and fix the intercooler elbow, but I'm not sure if that's going to be happening next clip or in the future, because as you've probably noticed, I have not uploaded in a few weeks. Unfortunately, just have not had the time. I've had a few mates' cars in that I've been doing work on, so I can earn a bit of money considering my current employment situation with coronavirus. But now that I have the time on my hands, I can finally edit again, film some more stuff, as quite a lot has happened to Mr. EJ since the last video was uploaded, but we'll eventually get to that. So anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, if you liked it, please hit the like button. If you are liking my content, please press subscribe. If you've got any feedback, comments, or video suggestions, please leave in the comments section below. As always, you can follow me on Instagram at 07carves. And until next time, keep on learning.